So I get asked this question all the time. Are all cargo trailers the same? Or I get asked, I found this one online for $3,090. Can I get yours for the same price or less? So today I'm going to show you the difference between a heavy-duty commercial trailer that we build here in Largo, Florida, and a Georgia trailer. One that you probably see marketed all over the internet at a very reasonable and affordable price that you like. So I'm going to tell you the main difference. So the first difference I always want to start with and show you is going to be the tongue. The measurement should be at least 60 inches from the sidewall to the ball of the tongue. And what that allows you to do is turn and maneuver the trailer without worrying about damaging the sides. Okay? The next thing, when you look at the tongue, you should see multiple pieces of steel in the tongue of the trailer. Because what that's telling you is this trailer's rigid, it's well reinforced, and it's not going to have any issues when you're driving it. So that's the first thing. I'm going to show you over here, we're going to look at the Georgia trailer. This trailer has 3 pieces of steel in there, which is better than some of the Georgia trailers. But when you look at the distance from the back to here, it's only 36 inches. So what happens is you'll see a lot of trailers that have damage. They have strike points here and on the side, and that's something to watch for. Okay? And this is another Georgia trailer over here. And you'll notice this one only has 2 pieces, and they're thinner steel. So there's a lot of different options just in the tongue. We showed you a couple different tongues. One that had 5 pieces of steel in it, one that had 3, and one that had 2. Okay? And all those things can make a big difference in the construction, the quality, the longevity, and the price of your trailer. So let's go to the next thing. The number one issue we have at our repair shop is jacks. So this is the jack that we put on a Predator Eagle trailer. This is a 10,000-pound jack. It's more than capable of lifting this trailer with ease. When you crank it with your hands, it's not strained. So I want to show you the different jacks that are on the Georgia trailers. Okay? So this jack right here is a cheap jack. It's a 2,000-pound jack. And if you look at the size of this trailer, it's a 5x8 trailer. It's a light trailer. This jack may be appropriate for this size trailer. But then we move up to this giant trailer over here, and look what they do. They put the same jack on here. And you might not think about it when you go buy the trailer, but before you know it, you're going to be at the repair shop because this is going to be broke, your arm's going to be hurt, the trailer's going to be stuck down, or the jack is broken. So look at all the components of the trailer. We're going to educate you so you are an informed decision and you make sure you get the best value. The next thing we want to talk about is the door. Now this is the door, a commercial grade door. It's a solid door. You can see steel around the rim. You see screws in the door. Okay. You're going to see screws in the door right here. When you don't see screws in the door, that means there's no steel in the door. When you see screws, that means you have a strong reinforced door. Okay? Look at the hinges on the door. See how solid the hinges are? The door shuts tight. It's a firm, strong, lasting door. All right, let's look at the door on the Georgia trailer. Okay? First thing to notice, there's no screws in the door. So when you open this door, it's going to be light, and when you look at it, it's got corrugated plastic here. It's not even any wood. There's nothing metal in the middle of this door. This door is, if you hit this door with a bat, it would just shatter right through. There's no steel or anything reinforcing it. It's extremely light. When you look right here on the door, you'll see these hinges. They're very light hinges. The next thing we want to look at is the siding. So when you look at the siding of a trailer, you want to see screws in the siding if you want it to last. A lot of trailers are using non-screwed, they're gluing everything together. And although that does look really good, if you're in Florida or you're in the hot weather like most of our customers are, they're outside being abused, the glue can delaminate and the thing can come undone. The screws mean that they're steel supports, they're fastened to steel, and it also makes sure the trailer's more rigid. So let's look at the Georgia trailer and see how they do it. So Georgia trailer, we're only screwing every 4 feet. That other trailer, you were seeing screws, every piece of steel, there were screws. There's 4 times as much support in that trailer. So over time, as you're using the trailer, you're going to notice a huge difference between how this siding holds up. Whether it wrinkles, whether it falls, whether it changes position. It's going to be a lot different. If you do happen to hit a tree or you hit a strike anything, The more screws that are in it, the more it'll hold together and the less likely you are to have a repair. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, so we're talking about siding, is the aluminum diamond plate siding around the edge. This is to protect the trailer from dings and scratches. A lot of manufacturers will only put it in the front, and what we do is we put it all the way along the rims and the sides. Now this is an upgraded option, and some Georgia trailers do have it, some don't. But what we've noticed on the ones that do have it, the reason they have it is because they don't run the main panel all the way down. So what we do is we run your main panel all the way down, and then we put the protective coating on top. So when I look at a Georgia trailer, and this one over here has the diamond plate all the way around the edge, but the reason it has the diamond plate all the way around the edge is, if you notice, it's a 7-foot trailer. So they stop the siding here, then they pick up the diamond plate down here. So over time, you can have water intrusion as that bead of caulk fails that gets in between. So there's a difference between I'm using diamond plate on my trailer because I don't have it, because the metal I have isn't tall enough. So this trailer is a 7-foot trailer. They took 6'6" metal and they added 6 inches of diamond plate to make it work. Okay, so that's why this trailer has diamond plate. The next piece that we'll look at are the axles that are on the trailer. The trailers that we manufacture here, we use torsion axles. Torsion axles are the lowest maintenance axle that you can get. They're most rust resistant. They have a much smoother ride. And lastly, if you have a breakdown with a torsion axle, it will prevent you from having to be towed or having to worry about springs being dragged down the road if you happen to lose a wheel or lose a hub. The other thing that we use on these trailers is a 6-lug axle. So that's our standard that we use is 6-lug. A lot of manufacturers, they use a 5-lug. And the difference between a 5 and a 6-lug is almost twice the capacity of weight. So you'll notice that that's a 6-lug. When you look at the Georgia trailer, it also has a 6-lug, but it's springs. So when you look under there, you're going to see a bunch of springs. And over time, those springs can rust. Those springs will need to be changed, they'll wear out, and then if you do have a breakdown, they could be an issue. They'll be much harder on your equipment, you'll have much more things moving around, and you'll have much more wear and tear on your trailer. The next thing I'm going to show you are going to be the top rails. And these are what hold your roof together. It's a structural component of the trailer. We use 2 rows of it. The reason we use 2 rows of it is the roofing that we use is a thick, heavy-duty, 1-sheet aluminum roof. Now there's different gauges of aluminum roof. Typically when you get a Georgia trailer, you got 2 options. And I'm going to show you this Georgia trailer because it's short, multi-piece roof. So when you have a multi-piece roof, you definitely have to worry about leaking. So then when you look at this other Georgia trailer again, although it's a beautiful trailer, it has a single trim and it has a multi-piece roof on it. The trailer's so tall, so it's not easy for you probably to see that. This is a 1-piece solid roof, but when you see the double trim, you still have to get on top of the roof to make sure it's a 1-piece. Because sometimes people trick you and they use a different one. But when you use a thick 1-piece sheet of aluminum roof, it's important to use the double trim. All right, so the next thing to look at is the ramp. You're going to be using this a lot if you're a landscape professional or any kind of business where you're opening the door a lot or you're loading cars or equipment or whatever. This got a 4-piece ramp in it. So you got 4 hinges down here, and these are giant big hinges. These are commercial grade hinges. So it's highly recommended that you look for them. And you can also see the craftsmanship and how the hinges are put together. All right, so now let's open the gate up here, the ramp. So when you walk up a cheap ramp, you may be hearing creaking and cracking and all kinds of things. Well, if it's creaking and cracking when you're walking up it, that's not good. The other thing I'd look for is this ramp is enclosed with steel. We're going to show you the difference on the Georgia trailer here in a minute. But this ramp has a solid piece of steel all the way around it. Now when you look at the screws patterns that are on the ramp, every place that there's a screw, that means there's steel behind it. So when you're walking up this ramp, you feel the difference. Let's go look at the Georgia trailer. Again, this is a good Georgia trailer that we're looking at here. So the first thing I notice right away is this has this flip down. If you're going to be using it for landscape or you're going to be using it heavy, the first thing you're going to see break is this flip. The reason you need the flip is the piece of steel they used is not big enough to cover the wood. The wood is exposed. So over time you're going to have more issues with the ramp. We also look at the screw pattern. This ramp actually is a heavy duty ramp because I can see there is a lot of screws in it. It's a well-built trailer. So now we'll come inside the trailer. We've talked about the ramp. So when you look at the steel that's here, you're going to notice the difference in size. You're also going to see they hide the roof, so you can't see it's not a one-piece aluminum roof. But let's go look at the other trailer again. Okay, so when we come inside, you're going to notice the thickness of the steel that's in the ceiling. This is one of your key ways to look at the structural integrity of a trailer without getting under it. Because when you see solid, big, thick steel beams in the roof and you see them on tight centers, that means you're going to be having a much stronger trailer than you don't. One of the things, too, that I recommend when you get in a trailer is you move around it a little bit and see how it moves and shakes. And see if it feels solid. Because if it doesn't feel solid now, it's probably not going to feel solid later. Okay? So we're going to look at the difference between those beams. And you're going to see the difference a lot when you look at these side-by-side comparison. This trailer is also set up for a lawn professional, and it has racks, blower racks, pole saw, and front racks built in. So sometimes you're looking at a trailer and one might be cheaper than the other, but if one has stuff that could save you $1,000 that's pre-done, that's also a huge thing. Okay. We're also going to look at the last component, which I talk about the shake test, and we're going to look under the trailer and look at the beams and the reinforcement of the trailer. So some manufacturers, you can ask them this question, do the welds go all the way through? Are they welding the trailer on the top, flipping it over, and then welding the bottom of the trailer? Or are they only putting it on the top and just welding the top and done with the trailer? This mass assembly line trailers are notorious for using all the same components, the same steel and everything like that, but they don't weld it as much. And they give you a 1-year warranty. Well, like I said, quality costs less in the long run. When you're 5 to 10 years into your trailer and you're bringing it in for broken welds, it can get very, very expensive. This again is an all-tube steel trailer, extra thick steel, fully welded chassis. The steel they use for the tubing is the same size steel they use for the supports, but I want to show you the difference. They use 2x6 main beam, but then when they put their centers in, they still have them on 12 inches, so when you look at it, it seems similar. But when you really look at it, they're using much smaller steel on the supports. They're using 2x3. So again, this is a really good Georgia trailer. I've seen a lot of really bad ones. The last thing that I recommend, and this is something that's really hard when you go to Georgia and you buy a trailer and pick it up over there, is walking around the trailer and looking at the fit and finish. You know, do you see where the panel is scratched, the panel is dented? Do you see where it looks wavy or it looks like it's not coming together? When you look down a trailer, everything should look smooth, everything should look good. Okay? So that's visual line of sight inspection is really important. So when a dealer, when we inbound trailers from Georgia, we will reject trailers that aren't 100% square. That's the first thing we check is we put 2 tapes along the frame and we see if the trailer's square. When you hook it up to your truck, does it look like it sits square or does it sit crooked? A lot of people think when I'm buying a trailer, it's like buying a new car. No, you're not dealing with, you know, big 3 automotive manufacturers. You're dealing with smaller boutique manufacturing companies. You're dealing with mass production where price is the main sales component and it's not so much quality. So when you buy a Predator Eagle trailer, we have craftsmen that work on this. They've been doing it 30 years and they care about what they do. We're not trying to make 60 of these a day. We make 1 of these a week. So if you have one of our trailers, I mean, you have a piece of art, piece of craftsmanship, somebody was proud to put their name on the trailer. Versus the Georgia trailer, you got people that are just trying to crank them out as fast as possible and meet their production goals. So I hope this video answered a lot of your questions about cargo trailers, and yes, there is a difference. And if you're more educated, you can make sure that if you do buy a lower price value trailer, that at least you get some benefit out of it and you don't get taken advantage of.